install a Salesforce CRM starter bundle. Okay, so once you are inside the data cloud, you will see on the top you are in the data cloud. So once you are in data cloud, go to data streams. In the data streams, to load the bundle which has been loaded from Salesforce CRM, to get them into the data streams, click on new, and then in the new select Salesforce CRM. So here you will see which objects, bundles, data bundles that are already been loaded. So here for now I'll select services, which has accounts, cases and contacts included in this bundle, service bundle, and I'll click on next. And here it says one field unavailable, that is called the parent ID. So if you face this error and it's because of the insufficient permissions, let's follow a few steps to resolve this error. So for that we would need to enable object and field permissions to access Salesforce CRM data in the data cloud, because this is a dependency, could be. So log into the Salesforce org containing the objects and fields that you want to ingest into the data cloud. So for now we'll just close this, and from the setup I'll go to the quick find box here on the top left and enter permissions, and in the permission sets for the users, select Data Cloud Salesforce connector. The permission set is available after you connect your CRM org to the data cloud. For deployed orgs that haven't been updated recently, the Data Cloud Salesforce connector permission set is listed as Salesforce CDP, Salesforce Connector Integration. Customer Data Platform Salesforce Connector Integration, or Customer 360 Audience Salesforce Connector Integration. These are the names that you could find, but I am into right now Data Cloud Salesforce Connector. To allow users to access tasks and events, enable the Access Activity System permissions in the Data Cloud Salesforce Connector permission set. So from Apps, select Object Settings, select Object to ingest into Data Cloud. So right now I have chosen Accounts. To change object permissions, click Edit. Make sure you enable Read and View All permissions for the object, and read access for each field. For objects that you ingest into Data Cloud, enable read permissions for related objects in Salesforce CRM, even if you don't ingest those related objects into Data Cloud. Injected objects can refer related objects, and you need permissions to access that related objects information, and click Save. Repeat these steps for all the objects that you find that you want to ingest into the Data Cloud. So I go back to account settings, and I have another just looking at what exactly I need. So here account case, so I'll go into case here, cases, and then edit. Make sure you have read and view all, and also read access for all the field names. Save, and then I have contact. So I go back to the object settings, find the contact, and you know the drill. Click on edit, read all, view all, read access, save. Once you make this following settings, you can retry the steps which have tried earlier. But here for this, just for this exercise, I'm only selecting few which I need. Only these two. And if you remember the error correctly, that has come up from the accounts, and in the accounts that was from the parent ID. So I go back and select parent ID and save. So here, before I go forward, I'll close this. Let's just continue with this. Next. And just like before, I'm selecting the service data bundle. Click next. We will not see the error now. Oh, one field unavailable, account number. So I think it's from the account. So here the account number doesn't have read access. I'm trying again. Now we got everything. For the case, especially in the case, we would like to create a new formula field. So click on this new formula field and then give the name or the label of this formula field as action priority and the type as text. In the transformation formula, you can just paste this formula here that you can find below this video in the description section. So in the description you can find this, and once you have this you can test this. So if priority equal to high and escalated equal to true, then test. You got a response. So save this for now for the cases, right? And then for the contact object, make sure you only include, since there are number of fields, there are many fields, we would like to only include mobile phone here, and then we would like to include RAVG retail membership number and external ID. In the field label column, please go to these following fields in the contact object and look for RAVG retail membership number, and in the field label, click the edit button and change that name to RAVG loyalty ID, and same for the next field, which is RAVG retail membership number, field API name to be RAVG loyalty ID underscore C. So make these changes which I have not done in the video, and then do the steps as mentioned in the video. And then next, and then deploy. So just give it few minutes while your data streams are being deployed. So as you see, we got the data streams ready here for the case, account and contact. So let's go to the account and then review some of the mappings which have been previously done. So once you see this review ready button, click on that and wait for it to load. In the mapping canvas, you will notice that account data stream is mapped to 3 data model objects like account, contact and point address and point phone. We'll remove all the mappings one by one. Start with the account. Click the remove mappings icon on the right to its name. Notice in the confirmation dialog, the remove mapping button is disabled and you can only delete object. So this is expected as the account data model object is not used in any other configuration such as identity resolution or segmentation. And there is only single data stream that provides data for this model. Therefore, removing of mapping will result in no data to be exposed as this model, and instead the platform guides you to delete the object instead. So for now, click the delete object to proceed with the mapping removal. Now proceed with the similar steps for the contact point address. Contact point address, remove mapping, and then so in this case remove mappings is been enabled, so we'll click on remove mapping. As in this case, the data model object is used in more than a single mapping. The system provides a choice to remove only current account data stream mapping or for all streams. We want to preserve mapping for contact data stream, therefore choose remove mapping as an action. Lastly, repeat the steps for contact point phone object with the remove mappings action and not deleting the object. On the detail screen of the account data stream, click the actions menu on top. Yeah, so once we are back here, uh, click on this and then uh, yeah, click on delete data stream action, and notice that the platform will still show you the error message. This is expected as the object is currently associated with the default data space. Here is the error message on the top. You cannot delete data stream as that are processing are in the process of deleting, or the associated data lake object have mapped to the data model, are associated with calculated insights, or attached to a data kit or linked to a data space. Remove any mapped connections and try again. So this is expected as the object is currently associated with the default data space. Navigate to the data space tab here on the top. Open the default data space by clicking on its name. Click the drop down in the account object record on the right and choose delete. Here click the remove button. Return to the data streams again. This is deleted, and go to the accounts. On the detail screen of the account data stream, click on the actions menu again, and now go and delete the data stream. Now it shouldn't show that error anymore. See, it has been deleted. So the detail screen will close, and you will notice that the status of the data stream changed to deleting here. At this stage, since there are no data synchronized, the process should complete reasonably quick. Try refreshing this list view after a minute or so to confirm that the stream was deleted. Deleted. Record in the booking object represent vehicle booking information made by prospect and the customers. As this is a customer object, by default access to it from the data cloud will not be enabled. Comparing to the case object, Earlier we were experienced the error when trying to deploy the bundle due to the field not being available. In this case you wouldn't not even see the object, right? So navigate to the data streams tab here, and then choose the Salesforce CRM. So we'll create a new one here, new, and then choose the Salesforce CRM source, and instead of bundle selection, choose all object options here, this one. Okay, here try searching for booking object, which we were talking earlier. So if I don't find it, we will go back, close this, and then you know the drill, right? Go back here, and then to the permission sets, and here object settings, and then we'll go for bookings here, and then edit this property and make sure it's visible, and read and view all is enabled, and give the read access to all the fields of this object. You don't have to do the tab settings though, and then save this. As you already are familiar, now you can see, go back here and then click on the new data stream, select Salesforce CRM, click next, and here once they come, go to all objects. In the all objects, go for booking. Now booking is available. The next step is to review the fields and deselect those that we won't need in our solution. Note that unlike bundle objects, you cannot remove any field from the booking fields except record ID that is already identified as a primary key, and remove the last modified by ID, last referenced date, these two fields. The significance of inclusion or exclusion of the fields from the object might not appear as high as our scenario. In practice, when you implement customer solutions, the object quite often get very wide with large number of fields. Minimizing number of ingested fields simplifies the need of revisit each and every field during ingestion and mapping configurations. So add a new formula field to encapsulate some of the business logic that from two into a single field. So go back on the top and click on the new formula field. Let's get this formula, which I'll post again in the chat. Once you have this, you can test this. If the is business is true and source field is leisure is false, and first of all we have to give a name to test. So the name of this field will be purpose, and the return type will be text. Now test this, it says business, so this is working. So I'll just save this for now and proceed to the next step. Notice that unlike with bundle, you can update the name of the stream prior to deploying it. Leave it without any changes for consistency, so that all CRM streams will be having org ID appended to it, and deploy the stream. And please do select the category as engagement event time field. So we'll choose the booking date field. Also leave selection of the default data space, and then click on deploy. So this is how you do the custom object, loading the custom object into the data stream. Okay, now we'll look at rental preference custom object. So records in the rental preference object present customer personal references for the vehicles they rent. These form an expedited search for each customer profile when they are making new reservations. So again we'll go to the data streams, tab and create the new data stream here, and choose again the Salesforce CRM. So basically we are getting all of these from the Salesforce CRM bundles which have been loaded, data bundles. So here locate the rental preference. We only have sales and object, so we'll close this for now and then go back to our permission sets. So here is the rental preferences. So we'll repeat the same steps. Click on edit and then read and view all, and read all access, and then save. Once you have it, you will see them here now. Click new Salesforce CRM, you know the drill, and then all objects, rental preference, and next, and the category here will be other category contains information unrelated to profile or engagement information such as product or store information. Since this is rental preference, this will be a category of others. So once you have them, review and confirm both leisure preference last update date, business preference last update date have been identified as date fields, data types. So that you can see on the left. So if you scroll, yeah, it's a date, year, month and date. And what is the other field? Leisure preference data last update date, and business preference last update date. Business preference last update date. Once we make sure it's in year, month, date format, then for our data models, these fields need to be of date type. The CRM connector does not allow modification of the data type. Therefore, if these need to be corrected, you will need to create formula field with the required data type and use those in data modeling exercise. And before that, we'll just update the field label for the following fields. So we have the leisure protection coverage here. Yeah, how do you edit a field like this? Use type in here source. Let's put this for the other field, which is the business protection coverage. It's right here. So I edit this field and then paste it here. Oops, at the end, right? And then apply. So once you have done those two steps, now let's add a new formula field. So if you go on the top here, there is a new formula field. So in the field label, paste that, and then the output or the written type will be a text. Use the appropriate function and operators, calculate the value. Our aim is if leisure protection coverage attribute supplied, use its value, otherwise use none as a value. So this is our test field. If something is given, then it is that. If nothing is given, then it will be none. So it's working, right? And now we'll just put the same logic for leisure protection coverage as well as business protection coverage. So we have two fields here, if right, and both are empty, none is the output. Hope it makes sense, and this is how you apply the filters. Once you have them, you can click next and then deploy. After this, we look at how to apply the data transformations. As you went through the configuration and review of the data streams, you might have noticed that rental stream is particular contains mixed data. The majority of attributes are relevant to the engagement, especially the rental transaction, such as vehicle details, insurance coverage, start and end date, and so forth. But there are few attributes that are relevant for the customer profile, such as details of their driving license and various membership program numbers, right? When the data stream is mapped to the data model, it is not possible to map a given data stream to the mixed categories data model objects. Therefore, we will take advantage of data transformation functionality, extracting various identifiers such as membership and driver license numbers and storing them in a separate data lake object. So comparing data transformation with formula fields, you will notice that former operates with the stream content context, meaning you can access all records within the stream, while formulas, as you know, only operates in the context of a single record or row of the data. Now let's get started by creating a new data lake object. Before configuring the data transformation, it is necessary to create a destination data lake object where resulting records will be stored. Similar to data streams, this choice affects billing as well as that objects in the data model can be mapped to. So navigate to the data lake object tab on the top and create new data lake object. So here you have two options from existing or new. So let's go with the new here, and then the object name will be party identification collection and the category will be a profile. Notice four default fields that were created for you already here at the bottom. These enable maintenance of data lineage as well as other object usages. Those are data sources, data store object, internal organization, CDP, system, source version. And these are all of type text. So add the following fields. First we'll add the party identification, add field button here, and then field label will be party identification, and it will be of text. It's a primary key. And next one will be, or we'll just put this as ID, and next one will be just party, and the data type will be text again, and add one more field here, and here identification is the name. Also add name as a suffix, and as usual the data type is text, and identification number, and it will be a text as well. Once you have them, all the fields that you would like to have, then click on save. Go to data space tab now. During configuration of the data streams, you have noticed that all objects have been associated with default data space. While for the new created data lake object, this is not the case. This will prevent it from being available in the subsequent exercises. Therefore, let's discuss or address it now. So go to the data spaces tab, select default data space here, and then click on the add data at the top. Select the party identification collection object here, which we just created, and then check that and then click next. And here you will see that you are about to add one object to the default space. So add object without filter, select this and save. That is how you get the newly created data lake into the data spaces. And now let's look at creating the new data transform. Since we want to transform, we have done all this prior task, like we have created a data lake, and then we assigned a new data lake, and then we assigned it to a default data spaces, right? And now as we have a destination object to keep records, we can configure new data transform. So navigate to the data transform tab on the top, data transform, yeah, and then click the new data streaming data transform and select next, and here the name will be um, the following properties will apply. So I'm starting from the first field here, and make sure there are no spaces. The target data lake object will be party identification collection. So we're going to perform a transformation on top of this in this space, right? Hope it makes sense. And in the description we'll just add that extract driver license and loyalty program membership number for car rentals, and click next. Click on the examples here, so it shows you. So if you are familiar with SQL, it makes sense. Select from, right? Select from. So it's pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to put some decent amount of query here. So we are selecting as party of the customer, and then concatenate and some more observation from the rental, as well as where rental, and make sure you have the org id. So org id you have to copy. Let me tell you where to get the org id from. So every org id will be appended to the data stream object that you create. So this is your org id. Okay, so we're gonna apply this org id wherever it says org id, and then that will be something like this. Control F. Hope I had the replace functionality. Org id. Once the data transform is deployed, save, it will continuously stream data from the data DLO. So we'll just click on save first. So a few things to take a note with regards to the data transform. Okay, we'll just check the syntax. So there are few errors here, but that should be fine. Let me see what I can do there. To write the select statements from the data here. So basically, if I would like to write a like select the field and insert, and put like select, and then field name from, and then um, table name, like this. You have to build the entire query, and then once you have it, you can save and you can deploy. That's how you put the transformations. Okay, and then we'll continue our discussion with the commerce platform data. As you go through the configuration steps for the e-commerce field, notice that source value is the name, same in all configurations. The feeds are sourced from the same system, and that notion is carried forward into the platform. And while we are not actively using it in this workshop, this creates additional data points that we can prefer when data is used in segmentation or insights. So for the customer profile feed, let's start from there. Customer profile feed contains profile and demographic attributes for the customers, similar to the contact object in the CRM that you configured earlier. So config the Amazon S3 data stream, and new, and go to the Amazon S3 here. So select that and then click next. And to configure that, you first need to go to Amazon S3 and set up a bucket. So basically I have a bucket here. Go to S3 in the AWS. I have a bucket already created, and once you have the bucket created, then you can yeah, enter those details in here. So specify your S3 bucket name, S3 access key and secret key, and the file type will be CSV. So I already have them downloaded. If you don't know, please watch videos on how to create the Amazon S3 bucket. This is my bucket name, so I just copy that and then paste the bucket name and select the file type as CSV, and the directory will be e-commerce data, just like the directory name you have, right? And then the file name, make sure you have that directory in your S3 bucket. So inside my S3 I have this e-commerce data as the directory. So once you have that, I also have three folders here, three files, CSV files. So the first file name will be the S3 customer profile.csv. So I'm copying this name and then paste it here, file name, and the source will be, and then click on next. Now let's try, hope it works. Yes, it did. And in the data lake object here, we would select something we have already created, and then if it's not, then let's select new data lake object. Once you have this, you can select the name label as ecom customer profile, and it will populate here, and the type will be the profile data because it's related to customer, and the data lake object primary key will be the customer reference number, right? And add a new formula field, you know, already we have done that earlier, and the name of the field label will be party identification ID, and as usually the return type is text. So here is my logic, concatenate the loyalty program RAVG retail membership source field with the customer reference number. It concatenates. So this is one formula, save it, and let's create one more formula, and here the label will be the party identification type, and this will also be a text, and the transformation formula will for this one will be similar to that one, like concatenate with the email ID. So and test, so it comes like this. And then save this as well. Now you have two form layers. Save and proceed to the next step. And here keep default data space selected and set the refresh mode equal to upsert. Delete, and if you select the full refresh, it will delete existing data and insert new data with each refresh. So upsert, we'll choose upsert for this exercise, and update schedule to the following settings, where frequency equal to hourly, then let's change it to null. Refresh initial file immediately option is checked, and deploy the data stream. This is how you create a data stream with the S3 file bucket. Oh, now let's look at next module, that is order feed. So order data feed contains details of the customer transactions such as transaction date and total amount. Configure the S3 data stream again. So for that, let's go back to our S3 and then data streams. And basically we are trying to create a new stream for another file in the bucket. So again, let's put in all the data that we have done earlier. And click on next. If it is successful, you'll get option to select the data lake. I'm selecting new again, and this one will be an engagement data lake object. So here my data lake object label will be ecom order. Okay, and yeah, category will be engagement because this is an engagement data, and event time field will be order data, and here it will be order number. Okay, in order to associate the reference of this data set to a specific e-commerce limb or instance, create a new formula field. And here the new formula field, the label will be internal business unit. So I'll just skip this part for now and then create next. And same here, again upset, and the frequency will be none. And make sure you check this check mark, refresh initial file immediately, and then deploy. Now we have got the e-commerce order with the table names and all fields, all this, which exactly is in the CSV file. So basically we are trying to link order line items and all of these. So let's do this last step, and you know the drill. Create new data stream, Amazon S3, and then next, and then bucket name. Okay, and then next, again same, new data lake object, and here the object name will be ecom line item, and the type will be other category. Notice that SKU field was identified as number data type while we need it to be a text. So for that we would need to change it. So text, so it changed it to text. Even for the order number, marked as text, and it is text. Order line number as well. Order line number, it is a number and we want it to be a text. That's how you change the types. If you are to inspect the source file, you would notice that there is no primary key on the object order line item field, although there is enough details to make a composite key using combination of few existing fields, which can be achieved with a formula. Again, let's create a formula here. Field name will be order line key, so that is what we were talking about, and the return type, like always, text, and the sample of the formula will be like this. Test. Okay, and save, and primary key will be order line key. And then deploy. That's how we load all the three file details here. Okay, now SKU lookup data, product SKU lookup data. So order line items data field includes details of the product that was purchased, configure, additional data streams to ingest unique set of product details that later will be mapped to the goods product entity. So configure the S3 bucket stream again. Next, in the data lake object, new data lake object, and the label will be product lookup, and the category will be others, and the primary key will be SKU. Similar to the previous data stream, notice that SKU field was identified as a number data type. While we need it to be set as text, ensure to update the data types accordingly. Proceed to next step, and keep default data space, and refresh mode is upsert, and frequency is none. Here we don't wanna refresh initial file immediately, so make sure you deselect here, not select, and then deploy the data stream. Let's look at the module which is named as related activity lookup data. Orderline items data feed includes association of the product with the related sporting activity for the product. Configure additional data streams to ingest unique set of related activity details that later will be mapped to the custom entity. So following instructions, so this is same as the steps we have performed so far. Click on new S3, and then bucket name, access key, and click on next. And like always, the new data lake object, and the label will be related activity lookup, and the category will be others, and the primary key will be related activity. While it is still important to review the parsing and assessment of the data types, in this data stream we will be mapping a limited number of fields into the data model. Therefore, there is no real need to make any changes to the suggested schema. Although, to remain consistent, let's update the SKU field as we did for the previous steps, that is changing from the number to text, and proceed to the next step, and then keep the default as a data space, and then update the schedule to the following set is frequency equal to null, and also it's upset, and uncheck this box, and then deploy. So now comes the last step, that is validation. Once you configure all the above listed data streams and the data from them has been ingested, you might need to use update status button to refresh it. Refresh now. So you did, and then validate the total records count for each respective stream. So booking underscore C, this will have 8, and the case will have 5, and the contact will have 100. So far so good. And then these are the things that we have just configured. So the first one will be related activity lookup, and the number has to be 0. And line item should be 649, and the order will be 252, and the product lookup will be 0, and related activity lookup 0. And then store number lookup, where is that one? I think I missed that. I think I didn't create that one. 35. I think I missed a step, but yeah, it's the same thing. And rental will be of 7. Rental preferences 7. This is correct. And 32, where is that one? So looks like I haven't done 2 steps here. One is the store number lookup and rental C. Hope you will catch up with them, and this is the end of this session. Thank you.